Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be taking a look at another micro drone, and this is kind of a KingKong 90 GT competitor. It's sort of in that class. It's got 1103 7500 kV motors. You can see it's got that, little low stator there, and kind of cool looking color. I like the purple, and it's very lightweight. This is a plug-and-play version, so it doesn't come with much. You get the drone. You get two sets of GemFan 2035 props. They don't give you the screws for the props, which is kind of a bummer. So if this is like your first drone, micro drone, then you got to find some screws to get these props mounted. So that's kind of a downside. I think you're gonna probably have to look for some M2 6mm screws. I think that's the right size for this one. So just be aware of that. Out of the box, it comes with these like little landing feet. The focus, and it's secured underneath here with the screws that go into the motor. So I would recommend just leaving those on, because if you take that off and then mount the motor, the screws may go into the windings. Just be aware of that, even though it does look pretty thin. Although I have a feeling that in crashes these little legs are going to probably break, so just be aware of that as well. Now you do get these set of prop guards. So basically it's the same feet, but they have little prop guards that come out to the edges here that protect the props if you fly it indoors. So it's a pretty easy swap. You just unscrew this, take this foot off, and then put that prop guard on. It's got the same foot plus the prop guard, so if you want to fly indoors you can do that. So it comes with a 25 milliwatt all-in-one video transmitter camera. It's not the CM275T that's on a lot of the other micros out there. I think this is similar to the AKK, I think it's the BA2 that I reviewed a while back. I believe it's 40 channels. It does come with a little instruction card here. It's 48 channels, 600 TV line. It's nothing too fancy here. It's probably pretty similar to a lot of the ones that we've seen on the channel before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's just that making a note that it's not the CM275T, the one that's probably the most popular one. And as I mentioned before, this is plug and play, so you get no battery, no receiver, no transmitter, and no instructions. And so they're kind of assuming that this is not your first micro drone, that you've got others and you've already built them or configured them. So if you're coming into this and you have no idea what's going on, buying this model might be a little bit of a challenge. For someone that's flown a lot of these before and you've had experience with these, it's not that difficult. You probably have batteries that'll work with this. I would say something like a 300 to 400 milliamp hour 2S battery would be just fine. And it comes with these rubber bands here in the bottom, just like the KingKong. It's kind of nice that the screws are countersunk under here, so the battery should slip in pretty nice. And I'll probably use those 300 milliamp hour nanotechs that I like. They'll just slide in there perfectly, and we'll work with these JST connectors. That'll be just fine. You do get a buzzer and a programmable LED in the back. The ESC is a 4-in-1 10 amp ESC, not a 20 amp, just a plain old 10 amp. And then the flight controller is the Omnibus F3 with the OSD. That's the one that all of these micros are coming with nowadays. And then you would solder on your receiver. I believe it's these three right here. It is documented on the product page as to what the pinout is on this. I think ground's on the right and then signal's on the left. I'm not 100% sure on that. Just check the product page and you'll know what to do. Basically, there's 5 volts ground and signal for, I think it's UR2 on this board. So you can just solder on your receiver here. I'll probably use the FlySky RX2A and just stick it on the back here. You're probably needing some sort of micro FreeSky receiver, or obviously your Spectrum DSM-2 satellite work as well. Alright, just get a couple of measurements here on the arm. I think it's about 2 millimeters. So okay, so in between 1.5 and 2, and the side plates are 1 millimeter. It's not a very heavy frame and not a very powerful motor, so it doesn't have to be that stiff, and it's fairly stiff for the little skinny arms. It should be pretty durable in crashes. Alright, let's go ahead and weigh it. So it's fairly light, comes in at about 45 grams, so yeah, light motors It's not going to weigh a lot, so it's probably not going to damage too much in crashes. So this comes with Betaflight 3.10, like all the other micro drones that are coming out right now, with the same Omnibus F3 flight controller. So I'm not going to go through all the flashing and stuff like that I've done in previous videos. I'll just run through really quickly what my settings are. I have a general settings that I put in all my micros now. So I'll just go through that really quick, and then we'll go and give it a fly. Okay guys, just a little addendum here before I show you the flight footage. I went ahead, I put the props on, and added a receiver. I also flashed it to the latest Betaflight 3.1.7, and I did fly it, and this is the flight footage I'm going to show you. I was really impressed with the flight characteristics. It flew really well right on the first flight, really locked in. I would say that if you're looking for a substitute for the KingKong 90 GT, this is going to be it. I think that they fixed some of the things I didn't like about the KingKong 90 GT. They put the camera up higher so it's not in the view of the props, and they gave it a little bit of up tilt so you can fly a little bit faster. You still have the option of the prop guards to fly indoors if you want. It's this is not really an acrobatic flyer. If you're looking for acrobatics, don't go with 1103 motor. Go with at least a 1104 7500 kV motor if you're going to be running a 2-inch prop. The receiver I put on the back here is the FlySky FS82, the little micro connector there, and a little micro connector is soldered on the board right there like that. So if you want to know how to solder on your connector, it's signal, 5 volts and ground. This is a good receiver. I did a review on it before, and I've had no trouble with that, and it fits very nicely in the back of the tray. I guess is the tray on the top of the cage there. It's pretty cool. Now the battery that I used was this one, in case you guys are wondering which one to get. It's the GNB 350. It's got a JST connector, and it's a 80 to 160C. This is a pretty good battery. I flew, I think, about three and a half minutes, and it came down at storage charge, a little over storage charge actually, at 3.85 volts. So you could probably reasonably get about 4 minutes of flight, just kind of cruising around. And you'll see that in the flight footage, the kind of flying that I was doing. It was going at a pretty good clip. I got some pretty good fast forward flight, and there was a fair amount of wind too, so I had no trouble with the wind as well. Anyway guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll that flight footage for you. As I said, if you're looking for a substitute for the KingKong 90 GT, I'd highly consider this model. I think it flies really, really well. And additionally, I'll put my CLI dump in the description so you guys can copy my PIDs. I think it's just a stock Betaflight PIDs. I don't think I did any tuning at all, if I remember right. So yeah, this thing flies really well just out of the box with standard stuff. So not much effort need to be done other than adding a receiver and of course getting a battery. But you know, if you have a lot of micros already, you probably have a lot of batteries, and this receiver is like $9. So anyway, I'll go ahead and roll that flight footage for you.